What's going on, guys? This is Miasin. Welcome to my Tenyi Swordswoul deck profile. So before this deck profile starts, make sure you like and subscribe. And now let's jump right into it. So I'm playing a bunch of Tenyi monsters. A lot of people disagree with Ashuna being good in the deck. It really depends. If you're playing a smaller amount of Tenyi monsters, then the only one that you'd really want to either max out on or play multiples would be Vishuddha, because the card is insane going second, but it kind of doesn't really do that much going first, unless you're playing Ashuna, which allows you to summon the Adara, and then sync both for the level 8 synchro, that is Chi Jiao, in order to get your Swordswoul engine started, because this build doesn't really have the space to fit in the extra normal summon that is the Ecclesia, unless you're going second, in which case you can either main deck it or side deck it or whatever. It really depends on your needs. But yeah, the Tenyi version is also pretty good overall, going first and second, playing through interruptions. Not really hand shops, but definitely negates that you can actually break going second thanks to the Vishuddha bounce and just the fact that you don't have to commit your normal summon in order to summon these monsters. So yeah, 3 Ashuna, 3 Vishuddha, 2 Adara, 1 Shatana, and then 3 Long Yuan, 2 Moye, and 3 3 Long Yuan, 2 Tai A, and then 3 Moye. So yeah, pretty much everything here is almost super standard, except the fact that I'm not playing Ecclesia. I'm playing 2 Tai A, which some people are like, do I play 1? Do I play 3? Some people are even insaner and play 0 Tai A, which I think is ridiculous insanity. It's like an insult to the deck. Don't play 0 Tai A, at least play 1. And yeah, obviously you're always trying to max out the Moye, even though sometimes it might look hard to get that revealed. But when you're playing Tenyi cards, the cool thing is that they are revealable for the Moye, so I mean, sure. Shatana is also a good card. You can, if you break like crazy, you can special summon it and then make the Monk of the Tenyi set the sudden shift. And when you destroy your Monk in order to summon, like destroy 2 cards your opponent controls, you can use the effect of Shatana and then revive back your Monk and destroy another monster your opponent controls. So it becomes like a, I don't know, the Shiranui style Swallow Slash kind of trap card, which is nice. And then, yeah, triple Tactic Talents, I'm playing 3. You don't necessarily need to play this card, but I think it's good in the mirror match, because when your opponent goes like oh yeah, I'll negate with your Baroness or something, and negate any card with Baroness, then you just go, okay, Talon, steal your Chi Jiao, and then you can start, well, your opponent no longer has a weird monster in order to trigger the sudden shift, so you can play through more than 1 interruptions thanks to the talents, so that's the reason why I like this card quite a lot. And then Double Desires, we're not playing the Destiny Hero package, so we don't really have anything that we're super afraid of banishing with Desires. And I think 3 Desires in a 40-card deck might be a little too much, except when you have discards, but in this deck we don't really have a way to discard cards, so our surplus useless cards aren't really the best. And yeah, 3 Rhoda, this is great. In theory, you can also search generic rare monsters such as Archnemesis Protoss, but I didn't want to main deck the card. I think it's a little win more in game 1, unless you're like in a physical YCS where you know what your opponents are playing, because you can actually look at the tables and you're like, oh, I know that you're playing Drytron, so I'm gonna do like the light attribute Protoss. But generically, in game 1, it's just a little sketch, so maybe in the side deck it would be nice, but in the main deck, I don't think so. And yeah, 2 Vessel for the Dragon Cycle. Some people are playing 3, some people are actually playing 0 of this card, but basically it's a Foolish Burial, but if you control a face-up non-effect, so a vanilla monster such as the Monk of the Tenyi or a token monster, you can search a Tenyi on top of the Foolish Burial effect, so the effect of the card actually becomes better, which is really nice. It's once per turn, and that's the reason why I'm only playing 2, because if you play 3 and you start breaking on the card, then what are you doing, right? Unless, of course, the card is like an insane starter on its own, such as the Reinforcement of the Army card, or cards that could actually allow you to be discard fodder for the Long Yuan, etc. But yeah, Gold Sark, which can banish the sudden shift, so that's really nice. The Monster Reborn spell card, please play this card. I don't know why some people are actually cutting this card. It's so good with Tai A because you can Foolish the Moye and then search the Monster Reborn with the level 8 Synchro, then revive back the Moye. So yeah, please play this card. 1 Call by the Grave, double Droplet, and triple Chalice. Great at outing Artifact Scythe that is summoned on your own turn. Imperm is also pretty good. That's the one shop card that the hand shop that I would play, because if your opponent summons Scythe on standby phase, then it works fine. But if your opponent waits until you perform an action, then you're screwed with Imperm, whereas Chalice is it's a little more flexible. Sure, it's not a hand shop, but I like being able to negate Shabrigade, Sharig the Ominous Omen when I have monsters on the field, whereas the Imperm couldn't have done that. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this main deck. Now for the extra deck. So I'm playing 1 Cheng Tenyi, the level 10 synchro that banishes a card from the graveyard and from the opponent's field. Every single time it would be, well, every single time a card is banished. So this is like Eldritch's worst nightmare. Especially if you have like something like Call by the Grave to negate the Eldritch effect in the hand in order to try to send this, because the Conquistador wouldn't pop this card at all, so your opponent literally needs the in-hand effect of Eldritch. So really good card. Baroness de Fleur, obviously the negate for Nibiru. Chao Fang, if you haven't watched my combo video, make sure you do, because it's going to explain pretty much every single card here. And then Dragite, Draco Berserker of the Tenyi, also an interruption, not the best one though. It doesn't negate, it kind of like banishes a monster when it tries to trigger its effect. And then Omega, actually, there's a pretty cool combo with this card. Combo, quote-unquote, where sometimes you have to have no effect monster in order to use your Tenyi effects in the hand. So what you do is you go Moi, reveal a Tenyi, and then you make Omega, draw one card, and then tag it out, and then you control no effect monsters, so you can start summoning your Tenyis and play from there. So pretty good play, actually. I like it a lot. And then, yeah, 2 Chijiao, 2 Baxia, 1 Formula Synchron, 1 Shaman. This card can revive back your Weird monsters in your grave, which is really cool because you can revive back your Chijiao that's already been used, or your Chengying. And then, yeah, Needle Fiber, double Monk of the Tenyi, and that's it for the extra deck. For the idea section now. So like I said, the 1 Archnemesis Protos, the Dino Wrestler Pancratops, Token Collector, pretty good card that you can also play in mirror matches because you can make Shooting Riser Dragon, level 7 synchro monster here, by modulating the level by +1 or -1 when you banish either the Rhoda or this card, the Monster Reborn, with the effect of Tai A, because it does banish a Swordswoul card from your grave. So you do that, and then you Foolish for Token Collector when your opponent is like trying to summon tokens. Then you just go Token Collector from the graveyard, because it's a hand trap and a grave trap at the same time. Pretty nice deal if you ask me. A bunch of hand traps. The Ghost Mourner is the most interesting to talk about here, because you can use it on your own turn, whereas Veiler is opponent's turn only. So if you draw this and your opponent summons Scythe, then you can just Ghost Mourner the Scythe, and you don't really have to deal with that. So that's why if I had to play another hand trap, it would be between Ash, Mourner, and Ghost Bell, cards that can all be used on your own turn. Very interesting, except that people aren't really playing Artifact Sanctum in order to summon that Scythe. They're kind of rather dag-dying you. So, yeah. But this card is pretty good. Unfortunately, it doesn't negate Tri-Brigade, Sharig, the Ominous Omen summon on your own turn, but the Ghost Bell does negate the Revolt, which is good. And, yeah, Vect Veiler, alright, Geomathemech, Final Sigma, that's a level 12 synchro unaffected by card effects while it's in the extra monster zone. So if you want, like, a big towers that people struggle with, then you can summon this. And summoning a level 12 synchro isn't that hard in theory. You just need the level 4 token with a level 8 synchro, that's pretty much it. And then Shen Shen, level 9, like I said, the spell cards, when they get banished, they modulate either by plus or -1, so you have access to level 7 and level 9 synchros. And Crimson Blader is great against Flunderies and Swordswoul Mirror matches. Yazi is good at breaking boards. You can play 1 Baxia, 1 Yazi instead of 2. And then, yeah, Shooting Riser, Zeus, Baguska, in case you get hit by Token Collector, and your game plan becomes making level 4s and make that and win that way. And finally, Heavenly Dragon Cycle, pretty good card again. But the thing is, you really have to play like super heavy Tenyis if you want this card to be like really good. Even though I'm playing a lot of Tenyi monsters, I'm still not a big fan of this card, but that's pretty much it for this Tenyi Swordswoul deck profile. Really hope you guys were able to enjoy and learn a thing or two. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of this deck. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.